Hi guys, welcome back to Victoria's Crown. This is Victoria Osu, a registered nurse. If you are new here, hi, thank you for hanging out with me today. As you read by the title, we are going to look at how I transferred my credentials from Ghana to the United States and started working as a registered nurse. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. So I went to nursing school in Ghana. It was a 3-year program, and after I completed, I migrated to the United States. So when I came to the United States, I was looking for a way to practice as a nurse. So someone introduced to me CGFNS, but before that, she told me I have to call New York State Education Department since I was living in New York. So I called them and they asked me a couple of questions and they told me to go to this website www.cgfns.org. So after I went there, I created an account and I put in all my personal details. You have to also put in your educational background, where you went to high school, where you went to college. After you finish, have you been practicing as a nurse? If yes, you have to put in your license number, which country, and all those stuff. So I did that, and you have to pay before your credentials can be evaluated or they can transfer them to here. But during that time, it cost me, I think, $350, but now I think it's more than that. It's around 450 or so. So I pay that amount, and they have to make sure your transcript from your school, from the foreign country, they have to bring that here, and they also have to know if you were working already in that particular country. So I was in Ghana. I had just started working, doing my national service, so I didn't even really know if it was part of the experience or not. So I did both. I filled a form for my school for the transcript, and I filled a form for NMC, that is Nurses and Midwifery Council, whatever. So after that, they told me they're going to email a copy of the documents to my school and to the Nurses and Midwife Council for them to see if it's matched their nursing school in the United States here. So I was like, okay, fair. So I waited for a couple of months and I wasn't hearing anything from them. So I reached out to them and they told me they've sent the document to my school, but it looks like nobody is responding. So I took it upon myself, printed a copy myself, and sent it to somebody in Ghana in a PDF form for them to print it and give it to my school for them to fill it out for me. So after they received the documents from the CGFNS, which I submitted, which was not supposed to be, so they filled the form, my school filled the form, my transcript, made sure the number of practicals I did, the courses I did, and everything should be included. The number of clinicals, how many credit hours, everything has to be precise. So they did that, and I also sent a copy of the form to NMC, Nurses and Midwifery Council. But before Nurses and Midwifery Council can fill out your form for you, you have to be financially cleared. So I took I think allowance back home. I have to pay all this money before they can fill out that form for me. I was like, I really want to write my NCLEX in New York here, so I just paid the amount, and I went to the financial ministry or whatever they call that, and I paid the whole amount they were requesting me to pay. So they cleared me and they filled the form for me. So my school also filled the form, but one thing is they have to mail it back to CGFNS. If not, it's not official. So my school did that, and NMC also did same. So they brought all my credentials, all the credit hours, everything to CGFNS. So then they verify and match it to New York State Education. Does it meet the curriculum? So if it does, then they give you the go ahead. But if it don't, then they're going to tell you you have to take this class or that class or that. But fortunately for me, mine met all the requirements they were looking for. So it was a pass for me. So after that, they told me to fill the application for nurse Form 1 or something like that before you write your NCLEX, if you're preparing to write your NCLEX. So now all my credentials were in New York State here. It was up to me to register for my NCLEX and write my NCLEX if I want. So New York State called me, education department, they tested me and told me my credentials meet the requirements, so I have the go ahead to write my exams if I'm ready. So I was like, oh yeah, good. So I failed the nurse Form 1, but before that I wanted to do some classes for my NCLEX preparation, so I went to that class for I think a year, and they walked me through the process. After that I failed the nurse Form 1, wrote my NCLEX, and I passed. So after that I started working in New York as a registered nurse. But one thing I want to say is, depending on which country you are in, depending on the states, if you're in the United States, depending on which state you are in, you have to make sure you call the education department for that particular state, because each state is different. You might not know what works in New York might not work in other states. So if you are in the United States and you want to transfer your credentials from a foreign country, contact the state where you are in, contact the education departments. Make sure they give you the go ahead to use the company, either CGFNS or any other, before you use it, because I think most of the nurses, most of the nursing prefer CGFNS. But if it's not nursing, sorry, and it's like if you're a teacher, if you are whatever else, they use different company. So make sure you verify with the states, the education department for the states you are in, before you go ahead and fill that application. And most of the time, when your subscription is about to expire, they send you an email telling you, oh, your transcript is about to expire, so if you want to pay more to upgrade or do this, then you do it. But one thing I also want to say is, after I transferred my credentials, I thought they were keeping everything for me for how long? Not knowing I wanted to go to school again, I had to pay another fee. Even though it was, my documents were at CGFNS, if you request it to a different school in the United States, you still have to pay a fee. So when I was going to do my BSN, I had to go back to CGFNS, pay them again, but it was less this time, for them to transfer the transcript from them to the school I wanted to go to, because most of the time they want an official one, and mostly the ones we have, they don't consider it official, they consider it unofficial. So for them to accept it, you have to request it again before you can have it delivered to wherever you want to deliver it. One thing I also want to say is, if you are educated outside of the United States, if you are a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a professor, if you are whatever you are, don't leave your credits, your school behind. When you come, call the education department for that specific state. Ask them, I was this back home, I was this in a foreign country, and I'm in the United States now. How do I go about it? Just make good use of them, and don't let your education or your credit hours go waste. Thank you very much for coming along to this far. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any question, leave it in the comment below, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Bye.